Hey guys, I'm Roxie Jones, and this is Well+Good's Trainer of the Month Club. This month is all about kettlebells, and we're gonna be focusing on our legs in this workout here. So today we're gonna be doing a lower body kettlebell workout, and I recommend having two types of weights with you. So I'll have a lighter weight and a heavier weight. So for lighter weight, I recommend a range between 5 to 15 pounds, 15 being pretty heavy, and a heavier weight between the range of 20 to 40 pounds. And it's really at your discretion, whatever you feel most comfortable with without breaking form. The goal here today is to do this with correct form above anything else. So if you feel like your form is starting to crumble, always take it down a notch to a lighter weight. That is how we get stronger. So today we're gonna be doing a range of 6 exercises, 12 reps each. All right, so first exercise, we're gonna start with a kettlebell swing. Now I'm gonna start with a heavier weight, 30 pounds, but if you're brand new, I definitely recommend going for the lighter weight just to get the form down. So the kettlebell swing is primarily a hip hinge, and I'm gonna start by building a little bit of momentum, hinging my hips and pushing my hips forwards to get the full range of motion. Now I'll start counting when I hit parallel to my shoulders with the kettlebell. So here's 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. And notice I'm not having a big bend in my knees. That way I'm avoiding a squat. And that's it. So second exercise, we're gonna be doing a goblet squat. Now I'm gonna reach for my 10 pound. You're more than welcome to grab the 30 pound or a heavier weight if you'd like. However, I'm gonna start with this one, and you always wanna bring the weight right to your sternum. It doesn't need to be glued, but right in the same height, all right? So I'm gonna pretend like I'm sitting down in a chair. My thighs should be parallel to the ground. I'd also like to note that everybody's hips are pretty different, so if you need to have your feet turned out slightly a little bit, you always wanna make sure that the top of the crown is in line with your hips, like the bowl of the hips, okay? So we're gonna go for 12 reps. Push your hips all the way back and keep your core really tight the whole time. And 11 and 12. So third exercise, we're gonna move into a deadlift. Now I recommend grabbing your heavier weight for this one, and you're gonna start by lining it up in between your ankle bones, okay? Your toes should be pointing forwards, and you wanna start hinging forward at your hips, since this will be focusing on your glutes and your hamstrings and lower back, posterior chain. So before you're about to lift up, I want you to think about squeezing your armpits in as if you're squeezing or squishing a bug in between them. And you're gonna try to break the handlebar in half, okay? So before you even lift up, drive your heels into the ground and then stand straight up instead of thrusting forward with your hips, okay? We're gonna do this 12 times. That's 2, 3, 4. And another thing I like to remember is try not to look up too much. I know you'd want to check your form, but you gotta trust that it looks good, because when you're arching your neck forward too much, you might strain your neck a little bit. So think about keeping an orange tucked underneath your chin and coming straight up. We have 3 more reps, 11 and 12. Awesome. All right, so now we're gonna be moving into our split squat, which is again a knee-focused exercise. So I'm gonna be facing so you can see the side this time. Now I want you to start with your knee on the ground, and you always wanna make sure that your back toe is tucked under. That way you're not putting any pressure on your ankle. So back toe should be under. I want you to try just getting the form down without any weight first, okay? So you can hold your hands in front of you, put it on your hips, keep your crown in line with your hips, and you're gonna drive off the ground, driving through your front heel, okay? So you're standing straight up. Now, once you're ready to move on to weight, I want you to grab your kettlebell, preferably the lighter one at first, and you can hold it in front of your chest. It doesn't need to be glued to your chest, but slightly away, and you're gonna still continue to drive up through your heel. Now that we're feeling good about this, we can start counting our reps. And another alternative is holding the weights down by your side. Although if I'm gonna add more weight, I'll probably have to add another kettlebell to the other side if you'd like to go heavier. All right, and it's okay if your knee goes a little bit over the toe, but you never want it to be too much that you feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on your knee. We have 3 more reps, 11 and 12. All right, so now we gotta do the other side for the split squat. So I'm gonna start with just body weight, Back toe tucked under, same thing. I'm driving through my front heel, really keeping my core tight so that the crown of my head is lined up with the bowl of my hips. I'm gonna come straight up and then back down. You can always readjust yourself if you feel like your form is off. Now, once I feel good about that, I'm gonna grab my weight, holding it close to my sternum, but not glued to it. Coming straight up off the ground. And you are gonna feel a little bit of this in your booty and your hamstrings, because those are assisting muscles, but it's not the primary muscle being worked here. It's all quads, so that will burn. 11, and last one, 12. Awesome. Okay, so now that you've done your deadlift, we're gonna move into a single leg deadlift. So it's still gonna be focusing a lot on your posterior chain, and I wanna start with a lighter weight first, just because it can get a little tricky sometimes stabilizing on your standing leg. So as a beginner's move, you can keep your back toe resting on the ground, and you can just let your arms hang, and you're gonna hinge forward at your hips, trying to keep your standing leg as straight as possible. You're gonna stand straight back up. I'm not bending my knee too much because I'd like to focus on stabilizing my standing leg and really feeling the stretch in my hamstring and my glute, okay? Now, once you feel like you're good to go and you'd like to progress, then you can lift that back leg off the ground. And what I really want to avoid is letting my hips open up. So once you start to open your hips up, then you're not really focusing so much on your standing leg. So try to make sure that your hips and your shoulders are completely parallel as you're moving down. So once you feel comfortable doing this, you can start to progress in weight and go a lot heavier. And you don't need to touch the ground completely with your weight. We have one more rep, and 12. And don't forget, we gotta do the other side now. So I'm gonna be switching over to my right side. So same thing here. If you need to start with the beginner's form, you can just keep your back toe lightly resting on the ground, hinging in your hips, okay? When you feel ready to progress, lift your back toe off the ground and make sure that your hips are parallel with your shoulders. So another thing about single leg deadlifts is that it's considered a unilateral movement, which can be really great for balancing your muscle imbalances. So if you have a hard time doing regular deadlifts, then you might wanna try this first, just to balance out your body. And notice how I'm not thrusting my hips forward, because I never want to be overextending my back. I'm just coming straight up. It's going to be really challenging on one side versus the other side, you'll notice. So that's another reason why you want to do unilateral work. All right, we have 2 more reps, 3 more reps, 11, and that makes 12. So now we're on our last move. It's a glute bridge, and we're just gonna start with body weight. If you feel good enough, then you can start to add weight and put on top of your hips. All right, so we're gonna start by laying down on the ground. Back is completely flat, and your heels are kind of close to your booty, all right? And all you're gonna do is drive your hips up off the ground, squeezing your butt at the top, all right? Once you feel good about this, you can stack your weights on top of your hips if you'd like, and if that feels uncomfortable, then just stick to body weight. And we're gonna go all the way to 12. And this is all booty here. So really try to squeeze it at the top. You can hold it a little longer if you'd like. And you can also press your hands down into the ground if you'd like to keep it off your hips, all right? We have 2 more reps, 11 and 12. Cool. So that was our lower body focused kettlebell workout. Now, I recommend doing this for a total of 3 sets, so 2 more times through. If you're a beginner, I recommend sticking with higher reps and lower weight. And if you're more experienced, going a little heavier in weight for a challenge and fewer reps. I'm Roxie Jones, and thanks for joining me for this workout. Want more workouts? Then all you gotta do is subscribe to Well+Good's Trainer of the Month Club on YouTube.